to Deadlands Dime Novels, The Adventures of Young and Holt, Issue 61, Dear Jasmine. I'm your narrator, Ernest Wick, intrepid reporter for the Tombstone Epitaph. In this issue, Porter Holt is off to visit Jasmine Whately, a friend of sorts who promised to show Porter some deeper magical secrets. But considering the recent events regarding Reddington, Porter may be in for an unexpected surprise. Well, I guess we know where he's at, so we best get there with him.
So, it's time to go talk to her.
All right. And she was at the
Brown Palace.
The Brown Palace. All right. As you approach the Brown Palace, you get closer and closer. You start having, like you're saying, a lot of mixed feelings. You know, are you? It's kind of how you felt. You know, if you had to walk to the principal's office, or you knew that you were going to be in trouble, but yet you kept reminding yourself, I have nothing, I didn't do anything wrong, I have no reason to feel like I'm in trouble. And so you have all of these conflicting feelings, and you get into the Brown Palace and make your way up the stairs towards Jasmine's suite. And the two guards who were there before, they see you, they recognize you. They look at you, nod, open up the door. One of them does say, "She's in, but wait here." Points to the little, kind of lounge area.
Porter will just sort of tip his hat and head over. Well, he's going to keep his eye on him, though.
Okay. He walks into Jasmine's office, or Jasmine's, her, not necessarily her office, but her room. Opens the door, shuts the door. He's in there no longer than 30 seconds, and he comes back out. And he says, "She will see you." Then he just walks back towards the room entrance.
Deep breath, Porter.
Not that deep.
Okay. All right. And straightens himself up, gives a little tug at his, I should have, probably should have got it cleaned. It was rolling on the ground.
Just pieces of grass popping
sort
out of your suit.
Brushing it off. Well, I mean, obviously, it's been a couple days, but,
Yeah.
Okay, and, head on in.
Open up the door, you walk through, and you kind of you go to shut the door without even looking into the room. You shut the door and click shut, and you turn back and look to actually focus your attention to see where she's at. And she's standing, her back is to you, almost at like a 3/4 type of turn. And she's positioned in such a way that the light that's coming through the window where she's standing in front of, it's shining a little. It's a nice fall, because it is a fall day, and it's shining through brightly. And she is not dressed how she normally has been dressed. Every time that you've seen her, she's always been in her formals and very just well kept and put together. And at this particular moment, she is not that way. She's actually in almost a nightgown sort of thing. And her hair is down. And the way the light is coming through, it creates that right kind of silhouette as it shines almost through her nightgown. So you can actually make out the shape and the curvature of her body as you sit there and look. She turns and looks at you, and her face lights up. She has a big smile on her face, and she has actually looks like she was lighting some on the windowsill, maybe incense, because there's a little bit of smoke that's starting to trail up through the air. And she looks at you, and she pulls the kind of the robe slip thing that she has on a little bit tighter, and she says, "Porter, it's so good to see you again. Please excuse me. I slept in a little bit this morning, and I got up and I just didn't quite feel like getting dressed yet. I didn't really have any appointments, and yeah, and I just was feeling a little bit relaxed. I kind of feel like today's going to be a good day, and of course, now that I've seen you, I know it's going to be a good day." She gets about 3 or so feet away from you because she's walking up, and she goes to reach out her hand to touch you, and as in a way to greet, and her hand just kind of stops just before she gets to you, and you see her visibly pause, and her face just gets a little strange look on it, and then she looks up at you. How are you? And she begins to back away a little bit to go and sit down at her desk where you have sat before. You're on one side, she's on the other, and she sits down at her side of the desk. How are you feeling?
Porter is a little, now that he's a little more clear-headed than the last time he visited Jasmine, when he broke down crying. So he doesn't miss the sort of hesitation that she has, and it's odd in the fact that she's always been so in control and smooth and never seems caught off guard whenever he's dealt with her, that it just strikes him as strange, which is why he doesn't follow her immediately. He just kind of stands there thinking for a moment, trying to figure out. He kind of looks at himself like, is my jacket really that dirty? That she before he says, I took care of my business. Thank you again for providing Lomicide to help us out. We never would have gotten there without her.
Good. Yeah, I'm happy to hear that, and I'm also happy to see that you're back. So everything, it went all well?
It didn't go perfect, but I'd say sort of a wash. And probably something that's going to come up again, but that's something I'll worry about later. Right now.
I see. So it didn't work out perfectly. What made it not work out perfectly, and what didn't work out? What do you mean by that?
So we ran into Reddington while we were in the valley. He was trying to do something on a massive scale that would give him an army of sorts. So we stopped that.
In
that he does not have an army.
Well, that's good.
Which was good. He got away, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
And there might be a new loose tribe of natives in the valley. I don't know how long they'll stay there, but they're not under his control, which is a bonus.
Was he trying to use his? Because he's he's a practitioner of the new science, right? I believe that's what
Correct.
You told me. And he was trying to bring this tribe of natives under his control.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
And you think that you succeeded in preventing him from achieving that?
Yes. We sort of blew up his machine.
Oh, I see. Did he do something to you personally?
Well, I mean, we struggled a bit, but no, not really. Why do I have a hole in my...
Well, no, I just, with your abilities, he may have noticed and decided maybe to target you once he realized, what you could do or something of that nature. Make me a notice roll.
5.
You can tell that Jasmine is being a bit, in the way she's talking to you, she's being a bit dodgy, in how she's just in general speaking to you. Like she wants to say something to you, but she hasn't yet.
So Porter's going to kind of put his hand in his pocket. He's thumbing his deck that's in there. Is there something I should know, Miss Jasmine?
Well,
I feel like I'm missing something here.
Her eyes narrow a little bit. Maybe that's it. She gets up and she comes around the desk to you. And again, as she's going around, the light hits her nightgown and you get another shot of her form underneath it, which only adds to everything that you've already ever seen about her face and just the unique qualities of her face. And she comes around right to you, and as she's coming in close, her face, while remaining beautiful, almost takes on a bit of a predatory kind of look about it. And she does something to you that she hasn't done since you met in Deadwood. And she leans in close and she inhales through her nose very sharply at you. And it's a long inhale. And she just... Yes.
Porter's like looking off to the side while she's right there.
It's like Ripley and the alien, that it's...
Yeah, just kind of.
And she walks around behind you and she does it again. I think that's it. I think something is missing. There's just this pause. And she finishes the circle around her desk. And she sits down and she says, she does not look happy. You can see she does not look happy on her face. And she says, Porter.
Yes?
Show me your ability. Show me something that you can do. Show me one of your talents right now. Let's see.
He kind of freezes in place for a moment. He's like,
Flick a card into that bedpost. Do it. Do it.
Okay. So he kind of fumbles a little bit and charges power into the card. That's what does bolts cost?
It's 2 minimum?
1. It's just a 1.
One.
Yeah, because
Right.
you can raise it up now.
Nice.
And he just throws the card like he normally does at the bedpost.
You go to do that, and your mind kind of goes through the process that you do, and you toss the card. Something feels off, but you rack it up to the nerves that you're feeling and the way in which she's talking to you, which she's never spoken to like this before.
Yes.
And you go to toss the card, and the card just flicks through the air, and it arcs goofily in the air and doesn't even make it halfway to the bedpost, and then just lands on the floor.
And Porter's just staring at the card.
We'll say for story effect that it was indeed the King of Hearts that she gave you. And so you're staring at the card and it lands face side down, or you notice that the backing on the card that Jasmine gave you has reverted to the original backing that was there when she first gave it to you. It did not change, or it has changed back from all the other backings on your card, which, if you remember, it kind of changed into that. And so that thought hits you, and as soon as that thought hits you, that's when you hear Jasmine say, "Damn it!" She just shouts it. She pounds her fists on the desk.
Boy, does Porter jump at that.
You're still kind of staring at the card, and she says, "What the hell happened to you?"
I don't know. Why didn't it work?
Do it again. Try it again.
See, Porter's now fumbling with his cards. Well, maybe, hold on. Is there any shadows in the room?
Yeah, absolutely.
Make this as humiliating as possible. Choose a shadow. Is it underneath something? Do I just walk into a wall? What's going on here?
There's. She has her bed is like a it's a 4-post bed with like the gauze curtains around it, and so there absolutely is shadows right in there.
All right. So Porter's like, okay. He kind of looks around. Let's try. So he walks over to the bed and sort of sits down on it, expecting to walk out of this wall over there. And he just sits down on the bed.
What in the hell are you doing?
I'm supposed to be over there. Why isn't it? He sort of bounces to try and get it to work.
What? Well, you're not over there. You're still on my bed, Porter.
It's not working.
I can see that.
And she comes back around the desk, and she comes right up to you, and she grabs you by the lapels, and she gets right in on your neck, and she's just almost it's like she's like a hunter, and she sniffs up one side of your neck and sniffs up the other side of your neck. She's just clutching the lapels of your jacket, and you can see this mixture of expressions on her face, from anger to fear to sadness, and she says, "It's you've lost it. You don't have it anymore. You can't do those things."
What do you mean? Why? What's going on?
She pushes you away a little bit, and she turns and she starts pacing around the room, and she says, I don't know, but something took it away from you. What happened? Tell me you gotta tell me. What did he do to you? He must have hit you with something. What happened to you, Porter? You tell me what happened out there.
Okay, okay. So I was fighting him. I used my abilities against him, and then they got the drop on me, and I was held up. And Samuel walked away. He went to where he thought the machine had worked, and then I used my abilities. I killed a man, and oh my god, no. and then I his machine, and then I got to his machine, and I used my abilities to figure out how it worked, and then I pulled some switches, and then there was an explosion, and then he didn't have control anymore, and then we had to run away.
There was an explosion?
Yeah, to stop the machine, we had to. I think I shut it down. Maybe I pressed the wrong button and it exploded, but it didn't hurt or anything.
Wait,
just
stop, Porter. You were right there when it exploded? You made it explode?
Yeah, I was at the console.
And it exploded.
Wait, hold on. There were all the buttons. I was at all the buttons and switches.
And it exploded in your face, and you were right there.
Yeah.
But you just said nothing happened to you. If that thing exploded in your face, how come you're still standing right here, right now?
That's the weird science stuff. I don't know how it works.
Did it explode like dynamite, or did it explode in a different way?
It was a different way, I think. It's kind of a little fuzzy.
She begins massaging her temples.
That must have been it. Oh, Porter.
She comes and she sits down right next to you. She plops down. Oh, I'm so sorry, honey.
Porter's getting really scared now. Wait, what? Whoa, what? What is going on?
Well, I don't rightly know. But my best guess is whatever you did to his machine, when that explosion happened, your abilities, your powers, the thing that made you so special, it took it all away. She puts a hand on your knee. It made it go away. It broke that connection. Oh, it broke the connection. Oh no. Oh no, Porter.
So I can't just
No.
fix it?
No. Whatever that explosion was, it must have broken it. There's no way to get it back. There's no.
No, there's got to be a way.
If there's a way, I don't know it. And I will admit, that I don't know everything when it comes to our powers and things that we can do.
If I don't have these powers, I'm useless.
Make me a hearing-based notice check.
Yeah, that's... Oh, boy. How about an 11?
Oh, yes. Okay, 11. You say, I'm useless, and you hear her mutter under her breath, to me. But then she looks at you and she says, no, Porter, you're not useless. This is just so bad. This is bad. This is bad. Bad in ways in which you don't know. Bad in ways you don't know. She gets up and she starts walking around, rubbing her forehead. Just give me a minute.
Porter sort of... He's thumbing at the cards now, trying to... The bloody cards, trying to think of something.
She pours herself a shot of whiskey and just downs it. All right. Porter, I don't know what to tell you. I guess, I guess I don't need you to come to the cabin anymore with me. I can't show you any deeper mysteries if you don't have the ability to access them anymore.
There's nothing I can do? Nothing at all?
Not in regards to what I was going to show you, no.
But there's something. You made it sound like there's something.
I'm so sorry. Well, there's always something. People like Reddington and people like Smith and Robards, they're all not gifted like we are. They learn these things in different ways, but it's not a connection like I have or like you had. I don't want you to think ill of me, but that's why I was smelling you the way I did. I have the ability to know the difference, and you don't smell like you did. That's kind of how I found you in the beginning, and that's what piqued my interest in you back in Deadwood when we were commiserating over Wild Bill, I guess. But you don't have that connection anymore, Porter. And I guess that part of me's not very happy with you right now. Not at all. But she paces a little bit more, pours herself another shot of whiskey, and she turns, she says, but I guess part of me is also happy, in a sense.
So Porter's kind of, his hand's actually trembling a little because he's now much weaker than even before he met Joshua, in his mind, because he can't do those things. And that means Samuel knows his name and is out there, and he just foiled his plans and probably wants revenge on him. The Iron Dragon doesn't like him, and possibly the organization, and he has his very lousy shooting skill to rely on defending himself. So he's trying to process all that, and it occurs to him, you said I'm not useful to you anymore. What were you going to use me for?
Well, I didn't say that.
No, I heard... I got good hearing, Miss Jasmine. I heard that. What were we going to do in the cabin?
What? She pours a third shot of whiskey, and she grabs the chair that you were sitting in, and she pulls it over to face you, and she sits down. She puts her hands on your knees. Porter, now I need to tell you something, and I need you to just hear me out and just let me finish everything before you say anything. Can you do that for me?
Porter just kind of adjusts his hat a little bit. He's like, I can try.
All right. I guess maybe then, let me just say from the beginning, Porter, I do care about you. I do have a strange sort of affection for you, and I want you to know that. It's a different kind of affection than, say, a regular husband and wife might have. But it's still an affection. Porter, you had, and I'm sure you still do, you have a special quality about you in your soul. And she taps you in the center of your chest. There's something special about you, Porter. You are, you may say that you're scared, but you're noble, and you have an innocence inside of you there that is desirable. It's an admirable quality, not just in your fellow human being, but into things that aren't necessarily human beings.
Porter's mouth opens for a moment and then shuts.
And one of those not human beings is someone I'm acquainted with, and I'm sure that you've been acquainted with your own from time to time when you've used your abilities. And, well, I had made arrangements to help this individual out, and for him to be most effective in this world, he needed somebody with the spiritual fortitude of someone like you. And she kind of gives your legs just a little additional squeeze on the word spiritual fortitude. To be the right kind of vessel for something of its power and magnitude in the gifts that he was going to bestow when I brought him forth through you. That's what we were going to learn at the cabin.
Porter's mouth is just kind of opening, shutting. He's like, he wants to say something, then he's holding himself back, and then wants to say something, then catches himself again.
She points down to the card. The card down there, that was something that helped me build a connection with you in that regard, and allowed me to make sure that you were safe. And make me a notice roll on that.
Boy, when Porter is scared, he notices things. That's a 13.
You are rocking the house. Okay. She's not necessarily lying to you about the stuff with the cards, but she probably is stretching the truth a bit. If you don't have the connection anymore, then that individual that I work with, he can't have access to you anymore. And he's not going to be very, very happy about that. But I'll deal with that, because it was a choice that you made, and with circumstances beyond my control, and I guess in a certain sense beyond your control. I'll take care of that. But he's not going to be happy, and he might come after you, Porter.
So Porter made this connection in his head from where he met Jasmine, what he saw right before he met Jasmine, what he knows about her, the story she gave, and so he's just going to blurt out, "Wild Bill's gonna hunt me?"
I don't think so. I don't think he will. I don't think it's Wild Bill. Maybe it is. There's a lot about him I don't know rightly. But I know he needed to come into this world, so maybe Wild Bill's one of his agents now. I don't know.
It's not. It is. What? Wait. Who's going to try and kill me now?
I don't know. I don't know. I work with him from, but he has other. I know I'm not alone in what he's doing or what it's doing. I guess it's not necessarily a he. I just kind of assume he has a deeper voice when he talks to me. But anyway, Porter, look, like I said, at the beginning, I have an affection for you. I don't want to see you come to harm. But so I want to give you something. And she picks up the card on her way back, and she has some stuff in her hands, or she has like a small little box actually. And she sits down or back in the chair. Like I said, there won't be any going out to the cabin, and I was going to reunite you with some of your friends, but that won't be happening either. I do want to try and maybe see you again, and I'll try and do what I can to let you know if I find out what he might be doing. But here, I want to give you this. This might help. And she opens it up, and she hands you a couple of things. She hands you one glass bottle, which looks very similar to, in shape, to the Kickapoo Indian Sagwa that you drank a long time ago. And the other one is also similarly shaped, but it is smaller. And she hands the larger bottle to you. She says, This will help you should those who should be dead but are not dead come after you. You put this on them, and it's going to hurt them. It's going to hurt them bad. You just splash it on them. It's like holy water, but it's not holy water. Holy water and me don't get along too well, but it's not holy water. You have that. You take this. And this one here, you drink this. It's going to help you notice details that you might not have noticed when you need to notice them. If you feel like you're missing something, or if you feel maybe like you're being watched, or if you just find yourself in a nasty fight and, well, since you can't flick your cards anymore, if you need to shoot something, or if a friend of yours needs to shoot something, you ride around with that gunslinger, well, this would help him too. But you just drink it, hope for the best.
All right.
You'll see what I mean.
He's got like these bottles in his hands, sitting on the edge of her bed. She's sitting in front of him.
And she reaches in, pulls out one last item, and she looks at you, and this entire time that she's been talking to you, the expression on her face has completely changed. Like I said in the beginning, she's always looked put together, and she's always spoken to you in a put together, and you even commented on that fact. Her face always bore this look of confidence and self-assuredness and all that. And this entire time since you've started having this conversation, her face has not been that way. But she pulls out this lapel pin and she hands this to you. And as she does, that look on her face has returned. And she says, "Now, because I have this affection for you, and I'm going to play the true love card," she says, "because I have this affection for you, I want to give you this. Now, I can help you, but I only want you to use this pin when you really need that help. And all you need to do is," and she flips it over and pulls, it's got like a little hinge on it, and you can see there's a very sharp pin part of it. She goes, "You just squeeze this in your palm, and you have to draw blood. I'll come calling. And it doesn't matter where you're at, I'll come calling."
Porter is so overwhelmed at the moment that he probably doesn't realize how much she's doing for him. His head is still on his own survival, mostly. And that something that calls Wild Bill his agent is possibly very angry at him and is possibly going to get retribution, and he has no powers, and he's a horrible shot and has no combat skill whatsoever. That's still running through his head a lot right now, and so he's trying to figure out what he's going to do. And he's not, and while he's taking in what you're saying, like, oh, the lapel pin's going to call her to help, he doesn't realize how big of a deal that might be right now. So he's just kind of staring at everything in his hands. So did she hand him the lapel pin, or
she did, yes. And when she opened it, the pin was exposed, but then she closed it. "You must be very careful with this. It will only work one time. And I should tell you, Porter, I will come and help you, but there is a price. There is a price."
Oh, okay. Put on undead. Drink to see things. One time, your help with this price. Okay. She can see that he's just trying to make sure he remembers all this at the moment.
She, as you're muttering that to yourself, she's gotten up and she has retrieved a thicker robe and has put it on, and looks like she has, in essence, recollected herself. And she says, "Well, Porter, my dear, I think it might be best if you were to go now. I have a number of things that I need to do. This has changed my plans slightly, but yes. Do me a favor. If you see HB or Claude or even that old man you met on the train to Denver, just ignore him. Don't go talking to him.
Oh, okay.
At least for right now."
All right.
And she goes and opens the door to her to the outer room.
All right. So Porter is still staring at the stuff as she goes and opens the door. He's just sitting there, and it's the door opening, just sort of jolts him up to his feet. He's like, right. Okay. Thank you, Miss Jasmine. I better, I better go. And then, and before he even finishes his thought, he's just sort of hustling towards the door.
As you go out the door, make me one last notice check. Let's see if you can keep your streak up.
And he's stuffing things into his pockets.
Jiminy Christmas! Look at that.
14 with 3 separate explosions.
You do notice as you go by, because she's standing there and she's kind of holding the door open, and you walk by and you're putting your last bottles and things, and you're being very, very careful with the lapel pin, and you glance up at her one last time, and you do notice that she has a bit of a tear going down one of her cheeks, but you just see it, and you walk right out, and the guards are standing out there as you go through, and they just nod to you as you exit the Brown Palace.
Oh boy, that's another thing Porter's gonna look back on and regret in time, I'm sure.
Well, it wasn't all bad, and it certainly wasn't all good. But now it's time to see what Joshua has been up to, and we'll do that in our next issue, 6-Round Cylinder. The part of Porter Holt is played by Brad Smith. Joshua Young is played by Brent Rich, and your intrepid marshal is played by Chris Hussey. This game references the Savage Worlds game system, available from Pinnacle Entertainment Group at peginc.com. It is unofficial media content permitted under the Media Network Content Agreement. This content is not managed, approved, or endorsed by Pinnacle Entertainment Group, and certain portions of the materials used are the intellectual property of Pinnacle, and all rights are reserved. Savage Worlds, all related settings and unique characters, locations, logos, and trademarks are copyrights of Pinnacle Entertainment Group. Thanks also to Fear the Boot. Support their Patreon at patreon.com/feartheboot. Intro music by Half Deaf Clatch. Exit music by Ross Budgeon. Contact information for the cast, as well as music links, can be found in the notes on our website, youngandholt.com. If you enjoy these issues, please consider dispensing a lovely 5-star review on wherever you do listen from. Please search for Fear the Boot Actual Play. It's very kindly appreciated. If you listen on YouTube, please like and leave a comment. And as always, please tell a friend or 3 about the show. I'm Ernest Wick for the Tombstone Epitaph. And remember, saying farewell isn't a goodbye, it's the hope you'll see them again someday.